Carl and Damon here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. They made what into a TV series? Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft, The Halfway Point. Episode 4, Big Lies, Small Secrets. This is where we talk you through the episode and give you our thoughts and feelings as we go along. Directed by Giselle Farragon R. And written by Tasha Hyo and Troy Dangerfield Hyo. Right. Lara is woken up by Zip and finds that chaos is coming. The destruction caused by the combining of the stones is immense, and even a nearby volcano is erupting. Big fan of the sort of big chaos events that occur in these episodes. I like how, not imaginative, but how simple it is. Chaos in our world would be Mother Nature betraying us.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and there's a lot of chaos going on. So, yeah.
And of course, those of you who played Shadow of the Tomb Raider know exactly how chaos can be unleashed. And as that, think about the start of Shadow of the Tomb Raider and that giant goddamn landslide / water slide thing that occurs and destruction of the town via the tidal wave. Yes, Damon, the third reboot game.
If they make a season 2, I'm pretty sure by then I would have played it.
Right, we shall see. Lara is convinced that the myth is real and refuses to take Zip along with her, pointing out that she's accepting his help, but he must go home. Lara's plan is now to seek out the light, but must go to the worst place in the world, which she says as Paris, or appears to be Paris, right? It's a joke, I guess. Now, obviously,
Yeah.
the whole reason why it's the worst place in the world is because of who she has to see there. But I'm going to be mean here. As a person that has visited a few cities around the world and in the European countries, one of the worst places I ever visited was Paris. So I actually laughed at this joke because I don't like that city. But there you go. Right. Well, it's actually the apartment of one Camilla Roth, who I didn't visit when I was there, who Lara grew up with. It seems as though there might be more to their relationship too, and Camilla is now an Interpol agent. So they kind of grew up as children, best friends. So Zip reveals to Lara that Stone's box, so you know the one that holds the ruby, right? It can't just be any old box. It's actually made of pure lead. Basically, putting it crassly, an energy shield. All right, that's cool. I love it when they include like real things into the myths. So like, yeah, lead boxes, the dampening of power. Like, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of like Indiana Jones with the Ark again, like the
Yeah.
boxes and like yeah.
Laura is looking into Camilla's laptop, but a woman arrives and they briefly tussle. Laura now reveals to Camilla that she wants information on the light. They share some coffee before talking about their lives, particularly Laura. And I noted that I thought there was some sexual tension between them. Now, we'll get to this at the end of this scene. While bathing, Laura learns about the light from Camilla, an organization descended from the Knights Templar. They are powerful and have been picking off religious and political figures, which has got the attention of Interpol. Right, stop here. When it came back around to Templars, I was like, it always comes to Templars, don't it? Fucking Templars, man.
I know.
And don't get
Assassin's
me
Creed,
wrong.
man.
Well, it's not even that. Like Broken Sword, like
Yeah,
Templars.
yeah,
It's just like the history of the Templars and the Crusades and the betrayal and the church and how the corruption. It's all very fascinating. Do read up about it if you want. But it is like it's just. I think it's just a really easy thing to draw from because of how tied it into the world's history it is. Not just a
yeah.
country's history, the world's history.
Well, yeah,
Laura asks about Charles's father, and Camilla reveals what they have in him. He was a pastor who was taken out with a professional here. During this, Lara is testing holding her breath underwater, which made me laugh because, you know, my earliest introduction of Lara Croft was a demo of the original Tomb Raider game. And in that, you obviously get to swim underwater, shoot a bear, and all of that. So, like, obviously, she can hold her breath quite well.
yeah.
This is where Camilla notices her scraped and scarred back. Camilla compares Lara to her father, which Lara takes as a compliment. So, Charles Sr.'s church was taken over by the light and turned into a Knights Templar museum, but all closed up. The pair, Lara and Camilla, reconnect now and agree to go to the church together on their own little adventure. They arrive at night and Camilla picks the lock while Lara finds her way in via a window, all the while flirting and making jokes with each other. So, here we hit. This shows I'm going to do this controversial section because I've seen different views on this, and I think seriously, people, grow the fuck up, take your head for a shit, and stop being fucking weird. First off, This is not explicitly saying that Lara Croft is gay. It is not saying that at all. But even if it did, who gives a shit? There's enough stuff for you to go have a little wank over yourself. Why not create a different Lara Croft? This is not the Lara Croft you remember from your wet dreams in the 90s, you bloody weirdos. This is that she still exists, that Lara Croft exists, and is played by Angelina Jolie and stuff like and all that stuff and things like that. However, I don't think it's saying that at all. I think it's more likely that Lara Croft is bisexual.
Yeah.
But you fucking tell me that the Lara Croft we know from the games, the highly sexualized Lara Croft, the sexualized arms, the one that was portrayed by Angelina Jolie in a very sexualized manner. You tell me that character, if you said to me that character was bisexual, then you wouldn't go, well, of course she is. Tell me, like.
I mean, it comes across that way. To be fair,
Yeah.
but I mean, I personally don't. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's a generated TV series. Who gives a crap?
Who gives a shit? Because you know what it resulted in? It resulted in a great scene that I thought was kind of sexy, which reminded me of Tomb Raider of old. Because here's the thing: is I kind of want to see this. I want them to link this Lara Croft to the original Lara Croft. So to do that, I like the idea of her using sex appeal and stuff like that. That was what Lara Croft did to a degree. She was a powerful, strong, attractive woman with sex appeal. This version of Lara Croft from the reboots is a more human and realistic figure, but there's no reason why the two can't link up occasionally. And I think we get that with Camilla here, the flirtatious behavior between them and stuff like that. But it's subtle. I think you can read too much into this. I think you can read too much into this and not just see it as very, very good friends who are very close and personal with each other.
Yeah, I saw no problem with it at all.
I just thought it was fucking fun to watch. I like the two characters and how they work together.
Yep.
But yes, but my annoyance goes towards the people that are going, fucking woke show, stupid woke show, and you stupid assholes that scream stupid stuff like that. You don't even know what you're fucking talking about, you idiots. Go watch something else, man. Idiots. Anyway. Huh?
The cancel culture.
Yes, anyway, where are we up to? I've lost my place. Right, yeah, so they break it basically in and they look around the dusty place and discover that's egregiously over the top, clearly a front for something else. So I like that. The fact that they're looking at things and going, this is so over the top, like as if it's designed to put people off, which it obviously is. They find out it was actually a temple or church and Lara discovers a secret door into the catacombs. It's deep and Lara's connection to Zip disappears. They are disturbing things, though, and an armada of rats and bats scare Camilla, enough so that she declares she's calling in her team, which annoys Lara. They end up splitting up, and Lara finds herself in an almost temple-like era. So I like this, the fact that Camilla's still like, Lara gets pissy when like Camilla's like, well, I'm calling my team, and Lara's all like, oh, you running away again, and stuff like that.
Yeah, so obviously, so you know that there's some sort of deep background there between them regarding that. So
yeah, their issues haven't gone away overnight just because they reconnected briefly. So we get, I think, a very horror-like series here where they're dealing with where she's dealing with interactive frescoes and then realizes that they had the stone of betrayal. So these Templars had the stone of betrayal. The Knights Templars, after being routed, destroyed, put on trial, whoever survived, having been betrayed and felt bitter, became the light. So the Knights Templars are the light. That's how they survived. She's now attacked by a monster and starts to hallucinate horrors, all based around her past, each designed to upset her. In particular, the wedge that was driven between her and Camilla as their lives went in different directions. She also sees her own death, and nobody really caring about it in the end. But this is all the work of the monster. Very effective, especially as through it, Lara learns that she can't actually manage alone. She's brought out of it now, though, thanks to Camilla, and together they defeat the monsters, revealing that there were no actual monsters, but cultists, and the mist that was kind of pouring through vents was causing the hallucinations. I like that, bringing it back to not full reality, but a little bit of reality. After Lara reveals the quest to Camilla, and they base off a fresco, they realize just how far from the church the Templars went. They also realize that the stone is in Iran at the grave of a Grand Templar Lord. It should be noticed here that the twisted elements tied to the history of their Templars' decline. So what I thought was really interesting, we've talked about this before, that The show does a good job of using real life stuff and twisting it to a Tomb Raider-y fantasy-based stuff. And the Templar's decline is tied, the real Templar's decline is tied into this fantastical story.
Yeah, I think previously we covered this a lot, like in Castlevania with like the church and like about how like the decline and the religion.
Particularly Nocturne, because that's set in France. Post chopping kings and queens heads off. Yes. All right, Lara realizes that Charles needed the other stones to get this one, as it's now a heavily guarded heritage site. How does she know this? Because it's what she would have done. And that's intriguing. Again, they might not be that too different overall.
Yeah.
Later, at Camilla's apartment, Lara is leaving right away, and Camilla promises to send her anything that she finds about the light. Before they separate, though, Lara confronts her about leaving when they were both younger, and they finally discover that Conrad, Camilla's father, had actually lied to them both. Camilla points out that her father could be a dickhead, and that Lara isn't to blame for his death, and that sees her off with the demand that Lara not make the same mistakes. Don't run away from things, run to them. So we are getting a development here that both of them, a lot of people have been, not always, people that you trust and love aren't always doing things for your benefit. Lara's father, we've seen in other Tomb Raider properties, isn't always the best of people, and in the show he's proven not to be the best of people. Very selfish. Conrad Roth was very much the same as well. It seems like he might have wanted Camilla and Lara to split up, separate them for his own benefit as much as anything else. Yes, and we get to this point where Lara, you realize, I saw this coming. I realized what they're going to do. They keep talking about balance, right? Balance of the world and light and dark and chaos and all of that stuff. But that works for people as well, right? And with Lara refusing to acknowledge her pain and constantly trying to run away from it, you could argue she's an unbalanced individual. So it's about finding balance.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Finally, in Iran, we see Charles following a mind-controlled Jonah forward. And that is the end of episode number 4, Big Lies, Small Secrets. I like this again. I was enjoying the show at this point quite thoroughly. I like the introduction to Camilla. I like the relationship between her and Lara. I feel like it developed enough of the story, and I really like the detail around the light and the Templars and the combining of those two things. So I was still quite enjoying this show.
Yeah, I mean, as a TV series alone, minus the games, the last 2 episodes really suited me. It wasn't too confusing. I understand what's going on. There's more development for obviously Lara, and so I'm enjoying it too.
And now you were starting to get a firmer ground, right? Because things like Knights Templars, based off other gaming properties and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, Assassin's Creed and many more.
Absolutely. Episode 4, Big Lies, Small Secrets. You got any thoughts on this one? You know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website, where reviews, news, and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at GBHBL. Just search for GBHBL and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.